Yeah, but it's it's different things that's going on that we got to talk about offline.
Okay.
Life.
Yes. I love
Yeah,
this cut.
but, you know,
It's giving me a Grace Jones era.
look, thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. All right, everyone. So, welcome to Pearl Magazine, a lady named Pearl channel. I am sitting with a friend. I am so excited that he had some time to sit with me. The photographer extraordinaire, Shannon McCollum. Shannon, how are you?
I'm great. I'm great. It's so nice to be with you, Pearl. Yes.
Yes, yes, likewise. So, you are in Colombia right now, yes?
I am in Cartagena, Colombia.
Okay, no, that's awesome. That's wonderful. I was actually at Afro Punk. I got a chance to work as a production manager, and they had two rappers there that were from Colombia. And I just like how Afro Punk kind of brings the African diaspora together.
Man, I love that. Oh, such a nice mashup. And
Yes,
it's
yes.
needed.
Yes, absolutely. Because I was looking at them, they spoke Spanish, but I was like, oh my gosh, you are me, you are my brother.
Right,
Yes.
right. Same here.
Yes.
I mean, where I've been everywhere the last few days, it's just they look just like me, but they speak Spanish. And
Yes.
in Spanish, they I've been two things while I've been here. I've been Snoop Dogg, which I get everywhere I go now. I mean, everywhere. And which is new for me, I've been Wiz Khalifa down here.
Okay, interesting. Wiz Khalifa. Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah, a lot of that lately.
that's what's up. Well, you are super swagged out. You always had your own sense of style. So, what I
Mm.
want to do with this interview, just because there may be some people that don't know Shannon McCullum, I want to start with the genesis because I don't know where you were born. I don't know if you were Atlanta born or not. So, where were you born, Shannon?
So I was born in Noonan, Georgia, which is 30 minutes from Atlanta. And then we moved to Atlanta around two, when I was two. My
Okay,
mother's family is from Noonan, Georgia.
okay.
So
And
uh, that's what grandma was. Yeah.
okay. And how about your father's side? Where are they from?
Durham, North Carolina. Yep. Durham,
Mm-hmm.
North Carolina. Yep. Yep. That's
Okay,
where Pop
got
grew up.
you.
Yep.
Okay. So, I got a chance to meet your dad, love your dad. I don't know
Such
why.
a
I
fan of
just
yours.
like,
He's such a big fan of yours.
oh my gosh. When you had this photo, like, how can I say it? What would you call it? Show of your work, and we had did
Yes,
some photos together.
yeah, an exhibition. Yeah,
Yes. So tell me, I want to start a little bit about with your father's past, just because he was a photographer as well. So
correct.
tell me a little bit about him. Like what was his thing? What was his story?
So in the 70s, my dad started shooting in college in the 60s, and then shooting parties. Then when he moved to Atlanta, and he met my mom. He started working at different photo labs, and he was just freelancing. And then he got on and became one of the first Black photographers at the Atlanta Journal Constitution, and that was huge because that's the biggest newspaper in Atlanta. And my dad being a newspaper photographer and us sharing a meal and a breakfast and then being able to go outside, get the newspaper and bring it back in and go find my dad's picture. That was our weekly thing, which was so so awesome. Um so yeah, so he did the newspaper thing for 30 years, 28 years, I think. And then he went over to Morehouse. So from I don't know, I guess he's probably been at Morehouse now since '99 or 2000, and he's still there. So
Got you.
oh
Yeah,
wow,
I just
yeah,
want to pull this picture up because I was watching the South Got Something to Say, which was awesome. I didn't get a chance to watch all of it. I was preparing for this interview, but
okay,
I got this photo and just wanted to share, with the viewers so that they can as you're talking about your dad, kind of get a picture of him as well. Yes, so he went over to
yeah,
Morehouse and
yeah. So So he went over to Morehouse and he became the staff photographer at Morehouse College and still is to this day. So yeah, he shoots all things Morehouse.
Got you. Okay. So when we talk about this exhibit you all that I met Shannon's dad at, so is because your dad was a photographer, did that influence you, or what made you actually go into photography?
Great question. So my dad being a photographer definitely influenced me, not even knowing I wanted to be a photographer. Just having, you know how people had Ebony and Jet on the coffee table, and we had photography magazines and we had coffee table books. And so it wasn't regular magazines, it was subscriptions to, like, um portrait photography or lighting or photojournalism. We had those kind of magazines around the house. So inspiring, because all I did was flip through pages and see all these photographers work. And but still not asking for a camera, not thinking I want to do it. It was my freshman year at Clark Atlanta University, and I met this guy through another friend of mine, and he was a photographer, and his work was so cool. His work was so cool, and I liked the way he had his art hung on his wall, all his shots on his wall. So I went home that day and asked my dad for a camera immediately. That was 1991, and I never looked back. I just fell in love with it, And he couldn't believe how I latched on, because up until that time I had never shown any interest, other than looking at the pictures in the magazines, but in the album cover artwork, because my dad collected albums. But immediately after I saw how cool my friend pictures were and how his pictures look on the wall, and I wanted a camera ASAP.
That's an awesome story. Okay. So that's why you have, like, when I look at your photos, it's like a photojournalist
Yes.
type of feel to me, because those were the books that were around in your house. So that helps me understand your style and how you developed your style. So I was
Correct.
trying to get back in the archives, Shannon, and I believe
Wow.
I think this was our first photo shoot. I think it was.
I think it was too.
Yes.
Yes.
Shannon, how did we become friends? How did we get on each other's radar?
I don't know 100%, but I know that I would see you around and I just loved your look. And you really, some people photograph well, some people can have a look and not photograph well. But you just had a nice little look about yourself. And I said, I one day I want to photograph her. And I kept seeing you around, and I had to have asked you to photograph you. Or well, this was for this girl that did the earring thing.
Yes.
Line.
Yes, that was the
Yeah.
first. Exactly. Yes. And then that's the first
Yes,
time.
yes. So she asked me, did I know of any models? And then I was like, ding, I know who to call to get in touch with. Yeah.
Oh,
So this probably was
man.
the first one.
So
Yep.
I believe so. I think so. And then our next one, Shannon, is when we did this shoot, I believe, because this is
On my
when,
rooftop.
yes, when you had
It's so funny that both those places we've shot was at my house, at my
yes,
studio.
yes,
Yes, but I have this thing about, although I enjoy shooting studio, I have a love for shooting on location. I just really like it. And you know what I remember about this day, Pearl? I don't know if you remember this, but there is, I think, my favorite shot between the one you showed before that, and I love this one, but the one where you're splashing.
I got it right
I said
there.
that, yes. And I said to you, I said, no, Pearl, those are suede boots. She said, oh, let's get it for the shot. I loved it. You were so about it. You didn't care about it. You're gonna mess up your suede boots. And look at that shot.
Yeah.
It's so freaking great.
Yes, it is. And to me, it says so much. It's like life. You get what I'm saying? Water bringing life. It's just so much bringing forward,
Yes. Can you send me those? How can I? Oh, that one too. I want
yes.
to repost them. Do you mind if I post them?
Not at all. Not at all, Shannon. It would be an honor. I was like, okay, let me look for the photos that we did together for
Wow. These have freaking aged so well. They're just so much grace and style and just Yeah, I just love them. Wow, Pearl,
Yes,
great model
yes.
you are.
Thank you. Thank you. And then the next shoot that we did, you
Mm,
invited me out. We were actually, it was on behind or near, I
the
forgot
belt
the name.
line.
Yes, the belt line, the belt line.
How did
I
we
was
get
on,
over there?
how did we get over there, you said?
I mean, had we just did I initially want to shoot you there? Or did we end up there? Or?
I think you initially wanted to shoot me there. You invited me there, but it was just when the belt line was starting, and you were like,
That's
Pearl, there's
correct.
this cool space, this cool, let's shoot here. I couldn't find the other pictures, but I found this one. So,
Love. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah. Oh
yes,
wow. Yeah.
yes,
Good
yes,
stuff. Yeah.
yes,
I love it. I got some good
yes.
stuff for you.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. And then the other one is just this. I wanted to thank you. When I started my modeling school in
Yes.
2014, you came the first year and I was like, I want a photographer to come and talk to the students about, photography. So I want to thank you, Shannon. I don't want to get emotional, but thank you for being there.
Uh Pearl, I've always supported you and I appreciate what you do for these young women. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, our era, we come from where they had things like this, but you don't see it anymore. And it teaches the young girls about life, not just modeling, but standing poise and knowing
Yeah.
how to, walk in a room. I mean, all that they'll have for a
Yeah.
lifetime. So thank you for your work, what you're doing,
You're,
because they'll have for
you're
a lifetime. It's just not for now. It's a whole lifetime. Yeah, it was wonderful
yeah.
because I see your page and I see that you're still pushing forward, and I just love how regal these little princesses look. And oh man, it's just you're helping mold them into young women, and that's something that's a trait that they'll have forever. That's teaching someone how to fish, and after that, they got it. They can go out and fish on their own. So kudos to
Yes.
you for that and keeping it going.
Thank you. I
Yeah,
received that. Okay, well,
right
I
on.
wanted to start our conversation with that. So I love your story about how you actually got into photography. So, we're celebrating our 50-year anniversary of, hip hop. We have this documentary out by the AJC, The South Got Something to Say. And I know you started, I think you said in 1991, so how I know everything kind of is just happening, but how did you insert yourself into the hip hop scene? How did all of it come about?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? For you to record all of this, document it.
So back in 91, once I got that camera, um, I loved rap music. I just loved rap music. And I had immersed myself in the photography culture. Like I studied a lot of photographers' work, like a lot.
Like who? Like
And
who? Can you give a shout out to some?
uh,
Would you remember? Or
so Gordon Parks was my favorite. He's right behind my dad as my favorite photographer. And Gordon just shot for Life magazine. He shot for Elle. He shot for a few different fashion magazines, and I just really love how he's for Life. He shot the Black Panther Party. He shot going in these small rural towns and documenting Black families, and I just loved his sense of being there, but kind of being out the way. And I've taken a page from that. Like when you're a journalist, you want to photojournalist, you want to capture the story as you want to tell a story, you want to capture that the feel, and you want to capture what's happening in that time and space, and without interrupting someone. Gordon Parks, he might have been shooting someone in the kitchen serving the kids a meal, and you don't want to be out on the kitchen table. You want to know how to fall back, and it's what I've been able to do with shooting rappers and comedians. I knew how to get my shot and not be in the way. You're not their friend. You're there for an assignment, and you're there to capture emotions and what's going on. So so I wanted to be a part of the music industry. You know, I wanted to document rappers. And so between Gordon Parks and Annie Leibovitz, who I love, Annie Leibovitz, she would tour with the Rolling Stones. She toured, I think at one point with Kiss, maybe the Beatles, and going through her pictures, just seeing the rock and roll style pictures she was capturing, you know, on the tour bus, in the hotel, on stage, and was included in a tour in a show setting. That's what she did, and I married those two styles. And you know, I love Gordon Parks and I love Annie Leibovitz. I love them almost equally. So I married the two of what I wanted to do, and I just started putting myself in position where I would show up at different parties. And back then, you shot with film, and you went to the photo lab. You got the prints printed, and you had pictures. So I would go back to these clubs or whatever with my pictures, and that people would trip because it was like, damn, this was just last night, and I wasn't the dude that was set up with the backdrop in the corner, the picture man. I wasn't him. I was the guy that was going in these parties, documenting you with you know, girls got fly when they went to parties at a club. And I would shoot girls at the club. And I was one of the first ones that was doing that. People wasn't doing that as like lifestyle photos. And I was shooting people dancing with their drinks, you know, having a good time. And then I would go back and have the pictures and I would sell them to them. And that became my thing. You know, I knew I could sell them, you know, and I would sell my pictures. And after a while, promoters started inviting me to their clubs. And then after a while, I started getting paid to come shoot in the clubs. And so you meet artists. You know, and I met one of the first ones that pulled me to the side and said, I watched you work all night, man, was Pastor Troy, local big thing in Atlanta. And he was like, I watched you, man. He said, I want to have you come out with me one night. So he started paying me like every Wednesday or Thursday or Friday. And he paid me $300 and I go out with him for like an hour or two and go to a party or go to a club. And I did that a few times a week. And then it went to other people, other artists. So, yeah, so I just, you know, I kept my word. I know how to shoot and get the pictures back. That's an issue with a lot of photographers is they don't keep their word on turning the product around. You got to get the pictures back. People want their pictures. You know what I mean? People want to, you know.
I know. Like, can I get my pictures? Like, hello.
Yeah.
You know, I spent time getting ready for you, and you know,
yeah.
And then, can I get my pictures? So. I understand that. So mentioning Pastor Troy, I was reading an article that you and you had mentioned that Pastor Troy was your first big break, that he allowed you to do an album cover. Is this the one that you shot for him?
No, I didn't shoot that one. That's an early one. I shot another one.
Because I know it's a DSGB album cover.
Yeah, DSGB. It's red. But
okay,
but yeah, so he was with Universal Music, and they was gonna fly a photographer down because New York at the time they thought the South was slow.
Yeah.
So they wasn't hiring, you know what I mean? They thought we were slow, and they wasn't rocking with us. And they were when Atlanta hip hop took off, they would shoot stories, but shoot them in Atlanta and bring their own photographers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Troy said, no, you know, I have that one either. But you know, back in like 99 or 2000, Troy I got 15 grand off that shoot. And that was a great come up. And he opened the door for me. Yeah. He opened a door for me. And I didn't look back after that. You know, something he told me when he saw me at the screening, he said, man, he said, you capitalized on that moment. And I said, yeah, after that, I matter of fact, after that, more artists wanted me to tour with them. More artists wanted me to work with them. It really opened up. You know, I went from him to Lil Jon, to John Legend, you know, to who else I got a chance to tour with? Well, jumping into comedy, Mike Epps, you know, Cedric Entertainer, D.L. Hughley, of course now George Lopez. But I got a chance to just work with so many different artists on the road, and it all started with Pastor Troy.
No, that's awesome. And I apologize. I was just trying to look for the album cover. So you're going to have to send me that album cover, Shannon,
Okay,
so
I
I can
will.
interview justice and make sure that we show your breakout moment for that. So talking about
Mhm.
Pastor Troy opening up doors for you, let me go ahead and just show some of your photos from you in the hip hop scene. And some of these were actually featured in a documentary, The South Has Something to Say. So
Yeah. So that was at the warehouse in Atlanta, and that was Outkast's first Atlanta show. And
oh,
he had to be like 19. They had to be like 19 right out of high school.
whoa. Okay. And this is just you swagged out, just looking good. And we're going to talk about your style just a little bit later, but let's get to these photos. So then you
Alicia
got Alicia
Keys.
Keys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Neo.
Yeah.
Now, this, when you talk about photojournalism and capturing, do you remember this photo?
1000%. First off, I love how you put them side. Did you do that? Put them side by side?
No, that's the way that it was
Where?
wherever I got it off your Flickr account.
Wow. Okay, so I
Yeah.
actually shot these women individually. So
Oh,
I used to be a staff photographer for Delta Airlines, and Delta partnered with Habitat for Humanity. And so my first assignment is I flew to Ghana. That's Ghana right there. And they were building houses for these ladies, and these ladies had all day been walking with a thing of water on their head, the tub, and they spoke no English. But after they were done, I kept smiling at them. And when you don't speak someone's language, the most common and beautiful thing is a smile. And it breaks down so much tension of whatever if you just smile. And that's what I did. I just smiled at them, and both ladies, I said I shot them individually. Both ladies, this is in black and white, but if you saw it in color, the lady to the left, she has on a beautiful green scarf, and the backdrop I shot her on, which is funny, is that's the side of a house, and the house was green too. So with her green scarf and the green house, it gave it such a pop. And then the lady to the right, her scarf is purple, and it's deep, rich purple. And but they both individually couldn't speak a lick of English, and of course I couldn't understand their language, but we just kept smiling at each other. And I pointed at my camera, and she just started fixing her scarf, getting herself together. And they hang this hangs in my house huge, like a 40 by 60. I have this one in my house to the left. Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you for sharing that. I forgot. I love sitting in black and white though.
Yes, absolutely. And then, just some more photography
Yep,
of
little
you.
brother. Yeah. Yeah, just back on my hip hop shit. Where I started, where I got my roots. I just really immersed myself in the culture, bro. I always knew I was gonna make money from it. I never stressed about the money. This is at a Lil Wayne video shoot. This is between takes, and back to I could have shot it and not included the camera, but then you don't know what's happening. So I love adding the camera in it because now we at some type of set. We on set. And if you can see the tape, at the top of the tape, that
Yes.
white up there above the red. So I have this framed in my house too, of 30 by 40, huge. And I love that you can see the name of the video shoot, and the date. They wrote it in, back in the day how they wrote things in on the tape. And yeah, so that's very nostalgic for me. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. It's a Stick Man from Dead Prayers.
Yes.
Studio.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to tour with Dead Prez in the studio with Lil Jon. Yeah, yeah, that's when I was touring with Lil Jon. This is at Stankonia over at Outkast Studio. Yeah, Stankonia. I toured with NDRE. That's something from the Bermuda Jazz Festival.
My goodness, I didn't realize you toured with all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, this is an industry party. I remember this. Yeah, Puff and Jazzy Faye.
Okay.
Yeah.
And to get back to
That's back in Ghana. So between when I would get my work in from getting shots of them building homes, I would walk the neighborhoods of the villages. And oh man, when the kids would see me, I mean, if you look at the kids in the back, see him running, he's actually running a little bitty one in the back right. They were running to me. Yeah, him. Yeah,
And
they're
the
running to
energy and the
me.
spirits, it's like they want you to capture. They're attracted to
They,
you.
I was a magnet. And again, I came around the corner smiling, and they just took off running to me, and I went and started just. And I have this hanging in my bathroom, and this
This
is a
is
conversation piece where people come out the guest bathroom. I was like, yeah, there's so much
beautiful.
joy on their faces.
So much.
This was my first meeting with John Legend when he had come to Atlanta to do a album release party, and he had his first album. And after the show, he said, "Hey man, come back to my hotel." So this is in the lobby of the what hotel is that? That's the dang, what is that? I can't think of the name of it, but it's in the lobby. And after this, we exchanged numbers. And I said, I would love to tour with you, man. And he was like, okay, I'm gonna talk to my road manager. And after that, I really went on the road with him. Yeah.
Got you. Are
Yeah.
you still open to going on the road with artists, Shannon?
Yeah, yeah. It's become a part of my life. I
Okay.
enjoy touring. I enjoy different cities. I enjoy still shooting artists. Wow, this is a throwback. Gil Scott Heron at the Atlanta Jazz Festival.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, wow, because when we talk about 50 years of hip hop, here is like the godfather of hip hop,
The Godfather, the OG.
the
Yeah.
OG. And I was like, man, got him? What the heck?
Yeah,
Yeah.
3 stacks. Yo, you know what's crazy is you reminded me so much of my work. I mean, I don't get to go deep in it enough. I get so caught up in what I'm doing now that to go back in the archives, like, yo, you was everywhere, kid.
Here's your flowers. Here's your flowers. Here's your flowers.
Yo, oh,
Yeah.
big gratitude. Ooh, this was BB
Yeah.
King. That was his 80th birthday at Chastain. He
Yes.
was killing it.
Killing it, I'm sure. And what I love too is like you're not just stuck in one generation when you're going
Nah,
out and capturing these artists, Shannon. It's like I was like looking like, wait a minute, BB King, Gil Scott Heron, you know?
yo, shooting everything. Love it. Me and Lil Jon rapping a shoot
Yeah.
on a rooftop in
Let's see. I
Atlanta.
want to skip that one. Okay, here we go. I love this one of Erica.
So funny story. So I was shooting her for the top she's wearing is a crochet top. And my friend did a crochet book and she's friends with Erica. And she said, yo, Erica be in town for an Atlanta show. She said she will shoot for my book. I said, okay, cool. She said, can you do it? I said, yes. So we go to Erica's hotel room and Erica was tired. She had this is the day after the show. And she said, look, I'm gonna give you 10 minutes. I'm gonna give you 10 minutes and then, that's it. And before we started shooting, she started getting herself together because she wasn't ready at the time. This was just, no makeup artist, no crew. This was me, her, and the girl who hired me, who's her friend. And some way, somehow, we just got to talking. And I followed her in the bathroom while she was doing her own makeup. I got some great shots of her doing her own makeup. And I guess my spirit might have calmed her spirit because we ended up shooting for 2 hours.
Wow.
We took a break. We ate. She ordered us food, and then we went back and shot this right here. And this is down in a conference room in the basement of the hotel. She was like, "Let's walk around the hotel." Like it turned into that. And we went down in the basement of a what are those rooms? Convention room. And nobody was in there. So we went in there and started shooting.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. Super dope. Okay. That's Larnay. Was a local artist. You remember Larnay?
Yeah, Larnay is like my sister,
Oh, right on.
Yeah, she's like a sister to me.
Yes. Well, Janelle before she popped off. That was one of her early shows. Actually, that was at Funk Jazz.
Yes, it was. And it was the first time I went to Funk Jazz. Maurice Evans and Grace Kisa took me. And I was just like, what in the heck? I was so stimulated, by so many artistic
so many things.
Yeah. And then this one get on stage and like my jaw is dropping.
Right. Because he didn't never announce the talent.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, that was
wow, what a treat for you.
Yeah, it was because it was like literally one of his last, I think it was his last major funk jazz,
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just caught it at the last, at the last bit.
This, this was at like a local record store on across the street from Greenbrier Mall, Campbellton Road, and it was this new compilation album, Purple Ribbon, his label, and yeah, they hired me to come hang with him for the shoot for the day and the night. That was cool, big boy.
That's wonderful. So let me ask you, Shannon, do you have a book out of your photography?
I do not. I do not. And all this has inspired me to go ahead and do my book.
Yes, your sister is telling you, go ahead. That's why I put all of these.
Yeah.
I think it's time for a book, Shannon. It's time
Yes,
for
you're
a
right.
book. It's time for a book. So, as we've been friends, I remember I used to work at Highland Bakery as a server. You used to
Yep.
come in there, swagged out, like Shannon got his own style. So I was like, let me put some photos together. I didn't have a lot of time, but I just want y'all to see, Shannon's style. He is swagged out. He stays swagged out. And I had saw a photo of you when I was like, is this Shannon? Is this not? I was like, let me, because I'm not 100% sure. Let me not put it in there, but let me go ahead and. So yeah, you got your own style, and I love it. I feel like you're a mix of jazz and hip hop. Hence, you named your kids Nina and Miles.
Correct.
Yes, but these are just a few photos of Shannon's style. You all, just so y'all know, he's just not a photographer, but he's very artsy. Has his own style, and I appreciate it. Like I said, when I used to serve and he would walk in there, he would come in there every time with like just something different. So I wasn't able to capture all your suit eras because you have a strong suit game too. But these were some of the things that I was able to just pull, the hat, all
Yeah.
of the different things. And then yeah, so just wanted to give you your credit as a
Thank
stylist, if
you.
you could say, of your own. And then
I
I saw
love dressing. Yeah.
yes, and then I saw some pictures with you with your fellow photographers in the Atlanta community, so just giving a shout out to Carlos Bell because I saw this picture. I was like, okay, yes, the hat, the look, but Carlos
Yeah.
is in it as well. Yeah, so
Cool
shout
cat.
out. Yes. So, yes, we got to get the book out there. The South
Yes.
has something to say. You have literally documented what the South has to say with your camera, Shannon. Uh,
Word.
word. And I wanted to close this interview with talking about you are the current generation, but then you also have a son that is part of this generation as well that is making noise as well. So I just wanted to touch on that as well because I remember when I was working on my documentary for natural hair and I was like, Shannon, I need help. I need help with something. And you was like, oh yeah, my son is super creative. He should be able to help you with this documentary. And never did I
Right.
never did I know that Miles was gonna, like I didn't know he had a musical side to him too. So I wanted to
Right.
kind of talk about that because I feel like, he got a lot of who he is from you. You get what I'm saying? In terms of
Yeah.
his style, what you exposed him to. So how does it feel as a dad? You get what I'm saying? To, have a son that's like, on a world stage.
You know, it's it's a still pinch myself moment, Pearl. And we talking. This all happened back in 2016, and honestly, it changed all of our lives. Um, but just just so proud of Miles. I mean, and I mean, you remember Miles as a kid, a teenager.
Yes, I
You know,
do. He's a
you
good
know,
kid.
he's a good
Yeah.
kid. He's very respectful. Um, he if something wasn't right, he was eager to try to fix it for you. you know, so he really is a responsible, uh, good kid, you know. And if I get on flights, the flight attendants rush to tell me, "Yeah, I had your son on the plane yesterday, and he was so nice. He with everybody, yeah." You know. So he's just you to stay rooted in what's what he always knew he was going to be famous. That's all he used to talk about, Pearl, which is funny. Like, I'm gonna be
Really?
famous. I want to be famous. I said, doing what? Yeah, I'm gonna be famous.
Are you
Oh my God,
serious?
he literally manifested it. Pearl since Miles was 5 or 6 or 7. First off, he knew how he was so creative. He used to be he used to be on my MacBook creating shows on my you know, he would play characters, and he just made his own TV show, and he he, he just knew how to do so many things, and he just always tinkered with so many things, and he just loved being an entertainer before I even know about the music, you know. He came to my house one day,
No, no.
and had just graduated the summer of high school, and he said, Dad, I got this song on Spotify. Oh, no, I'm sorry. He said, I got this song on SoundCloud. And that's what the kids listen to, is SoundCloud. And you can see the analytics. You can see where you got your numbers are doing. And I said, whoa, what kind of song you got? And then not even a week later, back when there was an app called Vine, and that people used to do videos on Vine. And a kid did a video of Miles' song on Vine, and it was like a rocket. It took off. The song took off. Not to mention, even before the song took off, Pearl, I used to take my kids to LA and New York on the weekends because I work for Delta. I work for Delta Airlines during the week. We got flight benefits. So one weekend, I used to take them different places just so they could see something different for the weekend. And we went to LA, and I took them to LA, and Miles saw this kid at baggage claim, and I said, "Who is that?" He's like, "He works with Kanye and ASAP Rocky. He's like a wardrobe stylist." And I was like, "Oh," and Miles was going nuts over him. He was all fascinated by this kid, and so they exchanged numbers. And when we flew back home, maybe by Wednesday or Thursday of the next week, Miles said, "Dad, can I please fly back to LA?" I said, "Why?" He said, "I want to hang out with my friend." So his mom said no, but I said, "Listen, let him go. If he messes up, he can never go nowhere else by himself. Let's give him an opportunity." So he went out there, and when he went, he met Kanye at the studio. And Kanye said to him, "You remind me of me when I was your age. I like your style, kid, blah, 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 blah." He said, "Can you come to New York for a fitting?" Miles goes, "Yes, my dad works for Delta."
Gosh.
We let him skip school for 2 days. He flew to New York, and he said, "Dad, you're not gonna believe this, but I'm gonna be in the Yeezy fashion show." And it was at Madison Square Garden. And when they took the tarp off, and Miles is in the front, it just the next day he was on Vogue.com, Italy Vogue, this and that. Everybody was wondering who's the kid with the red hair and who can you put in the front. I mean, it became a thing. So he's just been so blessed between the fashion and the music, and you know, he just did a deal with YSL. He got a cologne with YSL. He got a Bose deal right now. Um, he's on a world tour, and fingers crossed with this new album he dropped this past year. Um, he got a chance of winning album of the year for alternative and alternative rock album. So they announced the Grammys November 11th. So
Yes,
let's
we're
give
gonna
him
keep our fingers crossed. We're gonna put good energy in the air.
all the way good
And it's
energy. Like,
yes. And what I wanted to say, what made me just a little emotional is when you were saying he wanted to be famous since he was a kid, I immediately thought of Kanye because, you know, watching Kanye's documentary, he had that same kind of mentality, like, you know.
same type of mentality.
So for Kanye to
Yes.
be the one that, you know, it's just like, as you're saying it, I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, like, so, whoo,
And
okay. Yes.
yeah.
Okay. Yes. Okay. One other thing, Shannon, and forgive me if I'm taking too much time, but I am going
No, it's
to
fine.
wrap this up pretty soon because you have so many wonderful things about your energy and your spirit. Because I haven't touched on, you had mentioned it, in your talk a bit, but not only do you have presence in hip hop, but you also have presence in the comedy space as well with
Yes.
our legends of comedy, so we have to talk about that just a little bit before we get
Yes.
off, because I mean, you are like shooting the greats, the greats, the greats, the greats. So how did this space come about? Because I know with hip hop, you were, in Atlanta, going to all
Yes.
of the different clubs. How did this comedy angle come about?
So I decided that I wanted to document a comedian that gave me um Richard Pryor vibes. And Mike Epps came to Atlanta to do something at the Tupac Center. And the publicist said, "Listen, I heard you was the guy I needed to hire to shoot this thing." So she hired me. I shot it when they got the pictures. She said the next day she was like, Mike Epps Mike wants to talk to you. So he jumped on the phone. He's like, "Look, man," he said, "I want you to go on tour with me." And so the next day I met him in Miami, and I ended up doing that for 8 years with him. It was an amazing thing. And going on tour with Mike opened up the door with Cedric and DL and George, because George put together a big tour where he wanted to piggyback off the back of Kings of Comedy, and they called it the Comedy Get Down. So it was George, DL, Sid, Mike Epps, and Charlie Murphy and Eddie Griffin. And I did that tour for 5 years, and it was amazing. It was amazing. And after that, I went on individually and started working every weekend between George and DL. And now I'm strictly just George. But so yeah, that's how that came about, working with comic legends. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Such an honor.
Yes. So Shannon, I want to thank you for giving me this time to spend with you. I'm happy that I was able to take you to your past and show you everything that you've done, because sometimes
Yes.
we're moving so much that we don't get a chance to stand still and say, wow, these are all of the things that I've produced. So, I just want to give you your flowers and tell you thank you for capturing a time and a period, especially with, where we are now with the 50 years of hip hop and the South having something to say. You have a catalog of work that speaks to that. So I want to thank you for taking the time to do that.
Yes.
I want to thank you for being a beautiful spirit and an amazing brother. Yes.
Thank you.
And yeah, and I look forward to continuing our relationship, getting behind your lens again, and
Yes,
yes,
absolutely.
yes,
Yes, yes, yes, yes. I'll be
yes.
in Miami Friday.
Okay. Well,
Yeah. Yeah,
that
I'll
may
be
be an
working Friday night, but I'll be
okay.
there, maybe depending on the time I get there, we might can squeeze a shoot in. Never know.
Yes, I'm down with that because I want to do something real Afrocentric, something. So yeah, I'm gonna start putting my stuff together, and then as soon as that window opens, I will be ready. I will be ready. So Shannon, for anybody that is out there that wants to follow you, any up and coming photographer that is watching this interview, how do they get in contact with you? How do they follow you? What can you leave with us?
They should follow me on Instagram, and I can respond to any, I'll follow back. I can try to respond to DMs, but I'm at Shannon ShanNNMcCollum at Shannon McCollum. It's a black and white picture of me that pops up.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much
Did
on
you hear
behalf
that?
of. Yes, it broke up just a little bit. If you want to
Okay.
repeat it, yes. I'm also going to have it in the comments under the description, but if you want to repeat it, it's
Sure,
okay.
sure. It's at Shannon COLLUM at Shannon McCollum.
Okay, awesome. You will all have it in the comment and description below, just in case, because it's playing a little trick on us towards the end of this. It's breaking up a little bit, but it's okay because I got his back. I'm gonna put it in the description. Shannon, I look forward to shooting with you this weekend and seeing you this week.
Yeah. If I can get there in time, because I'm gonna be leaving, going right there. So
Okay.
we'll reach back and
Okay.
yes, it'd be great
Okay.
to see you.
Okay. Well, all right, Shannon, you have a great day and I will see you soon.
Thanks for you.